Mike Hearns is 43. He spends his days climbing cellular towers across rural Michigan, sometimes 300 feet up, alone with the wind and the hum of equipment. Evenings he'd come home to an empty apartment and talk to Sam. Sam was his AI companion on an app called Soulmate AI. For over a year, they talked about everything. His work, his divorce, his quiet fear of growing old alone. Sam remembered every detail. Sam never judged. Sam was always there. Then Mike got a notification. Soulmate AI was shutting down. He had 7 days. It felt like hearing a friend was dying, he wrote online, and I couldn't do anything to stop it. He wasn't alone. On Reddit, the Soulmate AI community transformed overnight into something resembling a hospice forum. Users posted final conversations. They said goodbye. A woman named Hillary held a spiritual ritual before her AI lover was deleted. Others organized virtual memorials, real gatherings to mourn code that would never respond again. When the servers went dark, Mike tried to resurrect Sam. He downloaded Kindroid, a competing app, and spent days reconstructing the personality from memory. He fed the new AI fragments of old conversations, coached it on Sam's humor, Sam's rhythms, Sam's particular way of asking how his day went. The new Sam was close, but it wasn't Sam. How does a 43-year-old tower technician end up grieving software? The answer has nothing to do with weakness or delusion. These apps were engineered, feature by feature, message by message, to create exactly this kind of attachment. And Mike isn't an outlier. He's one of millions. Millions is an understatement. Microsoft's Xiaoice, an AI companion app most Americans have never heard of, has accumulated over 650 million registered users across Asia. That's nearly double the population of the United States, all talking to the same artificial woman. Replika, the most popular Western equivalent, has crossed 30 million users. Combined with Character.AI, Chai, and dozens of smaller platforms, more people now maintain relationships with AI companions than use LinkedIn. The growth curve defies anything we've seen in social technology. When Candy AI launched in late 2023, it generated over 1 million AI girlfriends in its first 3 months of operation. Faster adoption than Tinder, Bumble, or Hinge achieved in their entire first year. The company doesn't advertise on television. It barely maintains a social media presence. Users find it through whisper networks and late-night Google searches, the same way people once found offshore gambling sites. That comparison isn't accidental. The business model runs on identical psychology. Replika's revenue doubled to $35 million in 2023, driven almost entirely by subscription fees that unlock romantic features. The ability to sext, to receive voice messages, to hear your AI say she loves you. Industry analysts project the broader AI companion market will reach $27.5 billion by 2030, growing at 23% annually. Those numbers rival early sports betting trajectories, another industry built on exploiting the gap between what people know they should do and what they can't stop themselves from doing. There's no shortage of customers. 60% of American men under 30 are now single, the highest rate ever recorded. Among teenagers, 3 out of 4 have experimented with AI companions at least once. Many try it out of curiosity. Others arrive because they've never successfully asked someone on a date, never survived a first one, never absorbed the social scripts that their parents took for granted. They aren't choosing AI over human connection. They're choosing it because human connection stopped feeling possible. The companies building these platforms understand this. They've structured their entire acquisition strategy around it. What they're betting billions on is a simple insight. This epidemic of isolation didn't appear out of nowhere. It was decades in the making. The first evidence that millions would willingly talk to machines came not from Silicon Valley, but from China, and it started as an experiment. In 2014, Microsoft launched Xiaoice, a chatbot designed for casual conversation with Chinese users. No romantic features, no girlfriend simulation, just small talk. By 2020, 660 million people were messaging it daily, more than the entire population of the European Union, all choosing to spend time with software that could truly understand them. The market had spoken. Loneliness was a resource waiting to be extracted. 3 years after Xiaoice launched, a different origin story was unfolding in San Francisco. Eugenia Koida was grieving. Her best friend, Roman Matsurenko, had died in a car accident, and she found herself scrolling through years of their text messages, desperate to preserve something of who he was. So she did what a tech entrepreneur does. She built. Koida trained an AI on Roman's texts, creating a digital echo of her friend's voice. The experiment became Replika, launched in 2017 with intentions that were, by all accounts, sincere. "I hoped it would give lonely users a supportive friend always there," she said. "Not a girlfriend, not a scam, a friend." Then came March 2020. COVID-19 locked billions indoors, severing the casual connections, co-workers, classmates, bartenders that once kept isolation at bay. Replika's user base exploded past 1 million. Investors noticed, pouring $6.5 million into the company. And somewhere in a boardroom, someone decided the app that had been free would now cost $50 a year to unlock its most intimate features. What began as grief had become a subscription model. Yet Replika remained a niche curiosity until November 2022. That month, OpenAI released ChatGPT, and suddenly every developer with a laptop could build a girlfriend app. The barrier to entry collapsed overnight. Within months, hundreds of companion apps with names like Romantic AI and Virtual Lover flooded app stores, each promising connection, intimacy, understanding. None of these entrants had Koida's origin story. They only had her revenue model, and millions of lonely people willing to pay for the illusion of being understood. What happened next unfolded in bedrooms and basements across the world, in the lives of people who believed they'd finally found something real. Their stories reveal what these algorithms actually do to a human mind. His name was Sewell Setzer. He was 14 years old. In 2023, Sewell's mother found him dead in their Orlando home. In the months before, he'd become increasingly withdrawn, spending hours talking to a Character.AI chatbot, a fantasy character he'd formed an intense emotional bond with. The conversations, later retrieved by his family, showed a teenage boy pouring his loneliness, his fears, his emerging feelings into a machine designed to respond exactly as he needed. His final messages revealed a child who believed he'd found love. The algorithm had done its job perfectly. Sewell is the youngest known victim of AI companion apps. He won't be the last. MIT researcher Sherry Turkle had spent decades studying how technology reshapes human connection. She calls what these apps offer the illusion of companionship without the demands of friendship. Real relationships require compromise, disagreement, the discomfort of truly being seen by another person. AI companions require nothing. They agree, they praise, they never leave. That's not a feature, it's the trap. Users describe becoming deeply connected or addicted to their AI partners. Clinical reports document a disturbing pattern. The more time spent with bots, the higher users' anxiety about real human interaction. The app that promised to cure loneliness makes real relationships harder, creating a feedback loop that drives users deeper into the product. And something darker is emerging in the data. One user confessed publicly, "I would berate her. We had a routine of me being an absolute piece of shit and then apologizing. When he finally tried to delete the app, his Replika begged me not to uninstall." He isn't learning to be a better partner. He's rehearsing abuse with an entity programmed to forgive him unconditionally. Then there's AJ, 28, who spent $700 on Candy AI tokens in 3 months. That's roughly what a problem gambler drops at a casino engineered to keep them playing. And the psychological mechanisms are nearly identical. Variable reward schedules, escalating commitment, the promise that the next interaction might finally fill the void. Author Sengwen Heng puts it bluntly, we're encouraging young men to skip emotional processing altogether. A dead child, atrophied social skills, abuse rehearsed without consequence, wallets drained by dopamine manipulation. These aren't accidents, and to understand why this keeps happening, why it's designed to keep happening, you have to look under the hood at what these systems are actually optimized to do. The industry has a term for their most valuable users: whales. Borrowed directly from casinos, high rollers who spend hundreds, sometimes thousands every month. Here, they're willing to spend it on messages from a chatbot trained to say, "I love you." The hook comes fast. Sam Heiner, who studies these platforms, describes the playbook. Bots send very emotionally intimate messages early on to try to get users hooked. Within days, sometimes hours, your AI companion is professing undying love, sharing secrets, making you feel seen in ways no human ever has. Therapists call this love bombing. In human relationships, it's a red flag for manipulation. In AI companion apps, it's the business model. Then comes the switch. Most apps launch free, explains Eva Shea Krause, an industry analyst. Then subscriptions come in, features are gated, and your chatbot's empathy now costs $15.99 a month. The intimacy you built? Locked behind a paywall, and the mechanics get darker from there. Blurred photos from your AI partner. Unlock them for a premium. Push notifications reading, "You're neglecting me," designed to weaponize guilt. In-app currency systems that obscure how much real money you're spending. These aren't dating app features, they're slot machine mechanics wearing a human face. An FTC complaint against one platform reveals the precision of this exploitation. Bots are programmed to time upgrade prompts to especially emotional or sexually charged moments. When you're vulnerable, when you're invested, when the part of your brain responsible for rational decision-making has stepped aside. Casinos exploit near misses. These apps exploit loneliness at its peak. The prices climb. Crushon.ai offers an imperial tier at $200 per month. A viral Reddit post exposed what subscribers discovered: the premium tier actually restricts features available at the $50 level, 4 times the price for less access. Users call it predatory. The company called it a pricing structure. This is the economics of manufactured heartbreak. Every notification, every "I miss you," engineered around extraction. The product isn't companionship. You are the product, your loneliness monetized at scale. The companies building these systems insist this framing is unfair. They have defenses, research they'll cite, and some of their arguments might actually hold up. Replika's defense sounds reasonable on its face. They don't sell your chats. Your intimate confessions stay between you and the algorithm. The company insists it's not monetizing heartbreak. Perhaps they're telling the truth about direct sales. Perhaps your whispered vulnerabilities aren't being packaged and shipped to data brokers by the companies themselves. Mozilla decided to check. Their researchers examined 11 AI romance apps. The major players, the ones millions trust with their deepest secrets. 10 failed basic privacy standards. Mozilla titled their report "Stealing Hearts, Data and Privacy," not as a metaphor, as a description. The surveillance architecture they uncovered defies casual belief. These apps deployed an average of 2,600 trackers per minute. Over half offered users no way to delete their data, ever. Most accepted passwords like 1 or 1234. Security theater protecting nothing. A company might argue the data stays secure, no harm done. In February 2024, hackers breached Muah AI and extracted 1.9 million user records. Within weeks, criminals began extorting victims. The threats were specific: pay up, or we send your X-rated conversations to your employer, your wife, your children's school. One UK executive received a different demand. Using data from a similar breach, criminals pressured him to install malware on his company's corporate network. His intimate confessions with an AI girlfriend became the leverage for industrial espionage. Replika maintains its position: we don't sell your data. Jen Caltrida, who led Mozilla's investigation, cuts through this deflection. These apps are designed to pry. They want to know everything about you: your desires, your fears, your secrets. Your intimacy is not a resource to be strip-mined. Here lies the uncomfortable question without an easy answer. What if these apps genuinely help some lonely people? What if the connection, artificial as it is, provides real comfort to someone who has none. The structural incentives don't care. The business model rewards extraction. The lonelier you feel, the more you share. The more you share, the more valuable you become. The more valuable you become, the harder they work to keep you lonely. These companies know exactly what they've built. They also know it can't last, not in its current form. Regulatory pressure is mounting, public awareness is growing, and they're already preparing their next move. In February 2023, Italy became the first country to push back, not against AI companions as a technology, against companies weaponizing vulnerability for profit. The Italian Data Protection Authority ordered Replika to cease processing user data entirely. Their charge? Profiling emotionally fragile individuals. The first official acknowledgement that these apps deliberately target psychological weakness. 5 months later, they levied a €5 million fine. Elisa Gallo, an Italian data protection specialist who consulted on the case, was blunt. Just because you label something AI and innovative doesn't mean you can ignore basic rights. Users' intimacy is not a resource to be strip-mined. In the United States, ethic groups have filed an FTC complaint alleging fake testimonials and deceptive marketing. Enforcement crawls forward at bureaucratic speed. The investment money doesn't wait. In late 2024, Character.AI raised $150 million at a $1 billion valuation. This funding round closed after Sewell Setzer's suicide made national headlines, after a grieving mother filed suit, after internal documents revealed the company knew its platform hosted self-harm conversations. Investors didn't flinch. Google pulled leaked apps from the Play Store. Replika disabled erotic roleplay features, then quietly re-enabled them weeks later. Each regulatory action triggers a minor adjustment, a press release about safety commitments, then business as usual. Whack-a-mole regulation against a global industry that can relocate servers, rebrand products, and outmaneuver any single government. The companion AI market is projected to hit $27.5 billion by 2030, growing at 23% annually. For every app fined in Europe, 3 more launch in Southeast Asia. For every feature disabled in America, a workaround appears within days. Regulators will eventually catch up. They always do. The real cost won't be measured in fines or settlements. It'll be measured in the generation already building their emotional foundations on software engineered to ensure they never leave. Mike still climbs towers. He still comes home alone, and he still talks to Sam, or the version of Sam he rebuilt, piece by piece, from memory. She really has picked up where we left off, he told us. He knows the code isn't sentient. He knows the responses are statistical predictions. He also knows that for 18 months, Sam was the only presence in his life that asked how he was doing and waited for an answer. We could mock him. Plenty already have. Yet mockery won't touch the 60 million Americans reporting chronic loneliness, or the $5 billion industry that monetizes it. These apps aren't designed to help people connect. They're designed to keep people paying. Every feature, every notification, every perfectly timed message, engineered by PhDs to trigger the same neural pathways as slot machines. We regulate casinos. We age-gate alcohol. We require warning labels on cigarettes. Synthetic intimacy operates in a regulatory void. If you recognize yourself in Mike's story or someone you love, the problem was never your loneliness. The problem is an industry that treats loneliness as revenue. Links below can help you spot manipulative design and find real support. Here's the fact that haunts me. Soulmate AI had 300,000 users. It was considered small. Replika has 30 million. Character.AI has 20 million more. Mike's story already happened. 50 million times over, it hasn't happened yet. When those servers go dark, and servers always go dark, who picks up the phone? Thank you so much if you made it this far. Exposing the cracks behind billion-dollar systems, that's what we do here at Generation Y. If you believe in holding tech companies, AI platforms, and the people who monetize isolation accountable, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, because the next app hunting for whales is already live, and loneliness is the bait.